Coming from a visual arts background, I come from a practice of doing everything myself. So one of the really expansive and exciting things about a project like this is being able to collaborate so much. You know, on set there's a lot of different heads of departments, from the cinematography to the costume design to the production and set design to the hair and makeup. There's also a number of returning collaborators from my previous film: the Kung Fu choreographer Chirag Luca, the sign language consultant Louise Stern, the editor Oliver Parker, and of course the composer Amy May, who I've also been working with on a number of live projects.
The role of the choreographer is always collaborative because I get to work with the director and to understand the director's vision. Also, I get to understand the script and what's been written down so that we can breathe life into that. As well as that, with this project, we've been fortunate enough to work with sign language artists and great performers, all of whom have their own unique abilities, their own movement capacity.
So my role in Trinity is as part of a full-on collaboration. Language and communication is also collaborative. And this film is about communication, body language, kung fu, dancing, with an extra layer of sign language. So, which requires, requires us to communicate with one another.
The idea of this being a ritual and the idea of combining Kung Fu with sign language to create a new language between two people is something that fascinates me, because traditionally Kung Fu is used as a fighting art. However, the words Kung Fu actually mean technical skill. So if somebody's a great communicator, they would have great Kung Fu because that is a technical skill.
The biggest collaborator was Louise Patel, who really inspired all the music for this film. So she was very much the starting point. We'd done a previous project where we used Lida's voice. I had a recording of her singing a song, and I took it and I wrote an accompaniment to it. And so we extended that process for the film. And in the end, I went up to Bolton and had a lovely dinner and got to record her singing. And then the single line of song that she'd provided was then taken, and I set it in various different ways. So I set it in a kind of trap hip-hop kind of way. I did a sort of 80s synth version of a song, and I did a very cinematic stuff with her voice and some quite orchestral music.
And the way that I tend to work with my collaborators is to have a lot of in-depth conversations and exchanges back and forth, swapping images and text and video and sound until we arrive at kind of a direction that feels right. And then when it comes to the actual execution, I just try to trust my collaborators and kind of create the environment for them to make their best work. And then of course a film like this can't be done without an excellent producer. So Sophie Neve of Tilt Films, who I also worked with on my last film, produced this film. So from nurturing it from the early stages, looking after it all the way through, and also kind of challenging me along the way to make sure that I'm making the most ambitious work that I can make.
Take a beat, take it so you're looking.
I can't easily pick one thing, but again, one of the beautiful things about working with him is the process which he works with. A lot of filmmakers have a very definitive idea of what they want. And with those kinds of projects, I'm more excited to see the film. But with this project, it's really the process of how it's created. So it's difficult to say just one thing that I'm excited about. But what I'll say is I am excited to see about discovering this way of communication with the choreographer, who I also worked with before, Chirag, all of us working together to find a way to communicate and create a new language, which really began with our previous project, and we're just taking it further with this one. So I'm excited to see that growth.
When we were finishing the edit, one thing that I reflected on and spoke about with Hetain was the central final image of the film, which between the two girls, they smile. That's something that I really love about this film, because it's both a reiteration of Hetain's overall concept about the importance or the power of nonverbal communication, but also because I think it presents a quiet challenge, and I think it creates a dialogue and opens a space for us to consider what gets taken seriously, whether you can smile if in the context of making an art film, or whether you can in a sci-fi or in this kind of elevated concept. So that's something that I think is interesting.